Alrighty. Everything going okay? Coming into focus. Turning that on. Let's see. Still working with a tiny screen for this really, but not entirely all bad. I need to slip over to that on occasion. That's going to slow this down a bit, but okay. Is that appearing? I want to turn that off. Let's see. Capture cursor, don't need cursor. Okay. This is a new experience, but it looks like it's mostly working. Alrighty. Red, blue, green, white, silver, and violet. Let's run you over this way. Player things, I don't care if that's covered. Okay, ready to go. So, this is Pool of Radiance, original gold box AD&D based computer role-playing game. One of the very first games to ever actually feature regular Dungeons and Dragons rules. Although there were a lot of role-playing games made before it based in that, were inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. But anyway, let's go ahead and begin in 3, 2, 1, go. First of all, apologies for no background music or anything. We have some very simple sound effects to this game, but they decided that music was not necessary for Pool of Radiance. Later games would have it, but for now. Storyline-wise, this takes place in the Forgotten Realms universe, one of the most popular D&D universes, especially from the early days. Around the Moonsea in the city of Flan, which in recent centuries has been destroyed and rebuilt a couple of times and now is mostly under the thrall of oops. Not going there. Now it's under the thrall of mostly of monsters led by this famous boss. And doing too many exits. There are some members of normal race civilizations that are seeking to recover the city. And we're a group of adventurers, first level, basic adventurers, being hired to contribute in the saving of the city. So they start you off as basic first level adventurers, just like you would be in a regular D&D game. So you start with a bunch of money and nothing else. So the first order of business is to go out and buy some resources for ourselves. Notice there's a huge amount of weapons in this game, which are all very subtly different per the original AD&D rules. If you ever played D&D before, you are not likely to be familiar with this particular version, unless you're a fan of this game and that's the reason you're watching it. But this uses first ed D&D rules, which are extremely punishing. Very interesting little quirks about them, as we will see. And I am very much taking advantage of these rules in pretty much everything I'm doing here. So first order of business is purchasing our equipment. I have a party consisting of 4 human fighters, male. Well, combat right off the bat. Okay, delay speed faster. Then quit. She can't do much right now. This game has a pretty good quick battle system for getting through this more quickly. And I'm going to be relying on that a lot early on. For most of my characters, except for my one magic user, as mages and wizards are called in this game, simply because let's see. So yeah, as I was saying, I have a very specific party built around the very curious rule set of AD&D First Edition. Uh, there were major limits on strength based on both your race and gender. Only human and your class even. Most of your stats, like in all other later D&D editions, go up 1 through 18, or 3 through 18 really, depending theoretically on the roll of 3 dice, depending on how you adjust things. Listen to all those misses. That little tink is a miss. You miss a lot at first level D&D, both you and the monsters. There we go, now we're starting to hit. So the first thing I make sure to do do. Readying arrows means that my characters will use bows automatically if they are not in melee range. You can't really use bows in melee. Okay, here's our first set fight in the game. Oh, so many different things I'm being distracted by. So, I've been explaining the warriors. So human warriors can get up to an 18-100 strength. They're the only ones, if they're male. If they're female, their maximum strength is 1850. But only fighters can have this weird exceptional strength. It's something that was weird in that really did not, just for whatever reason, is a part of the game. And so you had to deal with it. And there's a huge difference between an 18 strength and an 18-100. So the game has this feature that allows you to actually set your stats. They roll randomly like they do in a lot of other D&D and D&D similar games. However, they also did I go ahead and cast that because I can. Okay, that group. The theoretical point of doing this is allowing you to make characters that were just like your regular D&D characters. However, the caveat is that since you can, even though you roll just like in most other games, you can actually modify your stats to whatever you like. And normally that lets you set it to whatever, but it's for our purposes, both playing casually and in speedrun, because of how badly skewed towards high stats the rule set of AD&D is at first edition. It's actually much more convenient for us just to maximize all of our stats so we can have, because they are extremely valuable. This is just how bad the system is for stats. If you have a 14 dex, you get no appreciable bonus in the game, really. There might be some situations where the game mechanic rules, and this would happen more in an actual tabletop game, might, your 14 dex will affect something, but you don't get any real bonus to anything in combat. But with a 15 dex, you get -1 to armor class. So having an 18 for that maximum armor class bonus of 4 means that I'm 20% less likely to be hit than I would be with, ooh, this is bad. Yeah. Hopefully shoot that one. So there's no reason not to maximize out unless you're trying to do difficulty, because you could also just reroll until the sun goes nova, so why on earth just not save all that time and maximize your stats for efficiency? So because of that, yep, and there goes my, yep, needs to be bandaged. I'll explain that in a second. Go ahead and quick everybody again. It's not a huge deal. Jeez, this is not starting out very good. But that's the RNG of original AD&D too. Holy cow. Okay, good thing that we have very little. In the way of experience from these fights. I'll get to that in a minute. Normally goblins aren't bad. That was just about the worst possible fight we could have had. Losing 2 characters off the bat. Again, it's only a minor annoyance because they don't actually die, which is kind of contrary to most other role-playing games, computer role-playing games that are based on D&D. I'm going to run away for now. Okay, so in the slums, there are a number of things we have to do. There are a number of various points where people have one hit point. The only healing spell in the game is Cure Light Wounds, which heals up to 1 to 8 points. The 1d8 is what you would normally roll, so. Oops. Not the one I want. Memorize my Cure Light Wounds again. Ah, darn. She needs to do that so she can sleep. Need to rest for 12 days. So without healing magic, you regenerate 1 hit point a day. So it's actually faster in the game to just rest for days rather than to try and rememorize and recast your healing spells. Later games give you a fixed command, which basically has you rest and automatically cast and rememorize all your healing spells without you having to do anything for a good long time. But here in First Ed, we'll go this way first. Okay, cast plus some Angry Orcs. I needed to delay, not quit. Oh well. We surprised them apparently, which is kind of good. We're getting a few more actions than they will. Luckily, AI is not super great in this game. That goes both for you and your control, your and enemies when you're on auto, or if you have allies who are all controlled by the AI. I guess I'll go for it. It's good enough. Sleep is the most powerful spell in the early game, and one of the main reasons I go ahead and start with a magic user, even though they're otherwise useless. They can eliminate up to 9 targets pretty much in a row by using the sleep spell. It's pretty much unresistible, but only does a certain amount of hit dice worth of enemies. So more powerful enemies won't be affected at all, and it generally targets weaker enemies. So it's not very good against, say, ogres or anything bigger than ogres. But against a lot of goblins, orcs, kobolds, it'll hit a full group of 9. And once if you're helpless by either being held or sleeping or choking in a stinking cloud bank, you are basically one shot, which is just ridiculous. It's an automatic hit and automatically puts them down and dying. Now again, it's as good as killing the enemy most of the time for us. For allies, the good news is that, interestingly, in the original AD&D, whoops, didn't want that. I'll go ahead and change. Yes, trade. Oh, I already had to pick one up, so now I need to trade it to green. That is a lot. Menuing is one of the things in this game that I can definitely improve, but I like what I've got so far with this game. Detect magic shows you which things are magical. Magical items are just generally better than normal ones, of course. For the most part, mundane equipment isn't worth picking up, especially in this game. I need very little in the way of money. Just enough to train, basically. There isn't much in this game that's really buyable that's worth it after you do the first few things. Saving is instant. Okay. Yep. Eventually I'll get to explaining everything important. I don't need search on, though. I need to cast Bless here. Kind of dangerous putting her here, but Sleep is not a super long range spell. Boom, that's 8 kobolds pretty much taken care of. So with a bunch of AD&D, as you yes, may be aware, treats levels a lot differently than your traditional, like, say, Final Fantasy. It takes a long time to level up. You get very little experience. I'm getting about 50 experience per battle. It takes 2,000 experience to level up a warrior to level 2, which is just plain ridiculous. But you get experience in this game for some unknown reason just by gathering treasure. So finding treasure is one of the main things I'm going to be doing to level up my guys. I also want to collect as many magic items as possible. The reason I bought short bows is because there's so many short bow +1s here in this area. Jeez, not even worth casting a spell at this point. Some of these bigger fights, if I get lucky, they'll surrender after they lose a certain number. Or if they're weak enough, we'll just do that. Just basic long swords. I know they're not magical. We search to find their treasure. You turn on search. Normally, every time you move, you don't need to identify an item. You don't know what a magic item is until you identify it, but you don't need to identify it to be able to use it. It's one of the advantages here. So I'm finding magic arrows. You can join them together, even though I don't know exactly that they're magical, actually. Go ahead and camp. Memorize your detect magic. What did I do? Bless? I did. There's nothing in that storage room I'm missing up here. Oops. Being approached by some angry goblins. I can take out a good portion of them immediately, which I'm going to do. Sleep is just so powerful. Again. Okay, so back to party. 4 human male fighters. I have 1 cleric fighter who is a half-elf because they're the only race that can be clerics and another class. And then I have 1 pure magic user. Because I get such limited experience is the reason why most of them are single class. Clerics level up really fast though, and so I actually lose a lot of experience that gets wasted for ways I'll describe later if I just have a pure cleric. So I found it's generally more worth it to go with a fighter cleric because unlike in some of your later D&D games, later editions of D&D, a fighter cleric can use all the weapons of a fighter as well as cleric spells. You're not limited in that regard like you would be in the later games, which is convenient. So he can use swords and bows and anything else. And it's especially useful in this game because there are no actual ranged weapons that clerics can use in this game. They can't use slings or crossbows or bows or anything like that, not even slings. Staff slings in later games can be used, but there are no staff slings in Pool of Radiance, so just having a let's see, how close am I to one of my resting points? Not close enough. Oh, surprised. They charge forward, that's a surprise usually. Not that I mind. A couple of kobolds are actually really weak in this position. So I let the auto battle mostly play out, as it usually will. I will fight on my own in some of these combats. Continue explaining here. So I've got my half-elf cleric. One of the big disadvantages otherwise with non-human races is that they don't have as much strength as humans do. They also do not... they have a limited level. A cleric, even a half-elf cleric of the highest stats, can only go up to about 6th level cleric, but I'm not even going to reach that by the time this game is over, so the fact that he's restricted that way in no way hurts me. And just the slightly slower leveling of the cleric is more than made up for by being able to wield weapons such as I can wield here. Collecting arrows is going to be one of the slowest things I do over the course of the game here. Let's see. Goodness, surprised by more goblins. I already used my sleep spell. Luckily, we're in tight quarters here. So the leaders have bows, but they happen to be up front, which is really bad thing. What the characters look like here is not always what they actually wield. In most D&D games, most of your monsters actually have whatever loot they're supposed to have that you can take off of them. Like all of these guys have studded leather and swords. Just isn't worth it to pick up. Some of them don't for some reason. Orcs do not have any equipment except for leaders. Some of these monsters can fire arrows with bows even if they don't actually have any arrows. It's kind of weird. They get a certain number of shots instead of having arrows. Uh, but we have to have arrows to fire. And arrows are powerful because they attack twice a turn. You don't get any strength bonus with them, which can be pretty big, but still being able to attack at range is a big enough advantage that it's very useful for your characters to have bows. I make the main two in the back archers so they can just sit and fire, and put most of my better armor and weapons first off on the guys up front so they can spend more time meleeing, because most monsters are going to charge up into melee with me. That's how I want it. And so I have one magic user who is extremely weak, except for being able to cast these spells. And again, you know, it's casting one sleep spell that can basically kill 9 enemies at once, or put them in a position where they can be insta-killed and are totally out of combat, is much more valuable than casting, say, one magic missile, which was what traditionally you give your first level mages. They cast one magic missile and then have to go hide. I'm in a similar situation. I cast one spell and I hide, but at least that spell can really turn a fight around. As well as blocking off sometimes enemies so I can deal with the ones in melee and then whittle my way towards them. You know, that kind of situation. Let's see. That is not the fight I want to take. I can go in here and rest. Oh, surprised by orcs. Oh well. I need to fight a certain number of encounters in order to clear the slums. The first objective you really have to do is to clear the slums out, which entails doing all of the set encounters in the slums and then defeating 15 random encounters, I believe. So this takes a long time to do, and it's actually the longest, it's almost it's pretty much the longest section of the speedrun, as you can possibly see by my splits. So I'm fighting all these. Please surrender. There we go. You ran around and lost. So again, orcs don't have anything but money, which is mostly copper and electrum, which is starting to weigh me down, but not quite totally yet. Okay, cast, cure light wounds. If I try to rest most places, I am going to end up getting attacked by... I'm actually going to try firing. Oh, I did a little bit of damage. As you can probably tell by now, the chunk sound is the sound of hitting. Oh god, fast surrenders. Good, 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 good. There's a hidden morale mechanic in the game that they roll to see if they surrender or not after a certain amount of loss. They could also flee, which is much worse because then I have to try and track them down, which is very annoying. So, but it looks like kobolds are dual wielding because they're kind of designed to look like any place that I clear out I can rest safely. Anywhere else I try to rest, I'll be interrupted almost immediately. Depending on how many are there. Orcs are kind of one of the worst encounters. Because they don't have any arrows or anything, they tend to be the toughest. Although their armor class is pretty bad, 6. It's a low chance to hit. Again, since this is first at AD&D, the lower armor class you have, the better. It starts at 10. You can get a few bonuses. Some armors, like plate mail, the best armor, reduces your armor class to 3. Dexterity reduces it even more. Shields can reduce it even more. And you have a stat called Thaco, or some call it Thaco. Maybe it should be Thaco like taco. But Thaco determines it stands for to hit armor class 0. And that's basically what you need to roll to hit an armor class 0. So if your armor class is 10 less than that, if you're an AC 10, you need to roll 10 less than your Thaco in order to hit. And I just want to send this as far as I can, which is not very far, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the orc leaders in back all have bows, so they're going to be terrorizing me with those while I try to deal with these guys, but they'll eventually run out of arrows. I will not, because I have so many. And I probably actually ought to go ahead and do this battle manually. Which is a little slower, but maybe better because I can focus my arrows on the people I should. If I can take out those orc leaders soonish, that's best, and then I can aim at... I can't quite reach the helpless one. Oh, I can reach a couple of them. They will eventually wear off asleep if I don't take them out. But I really want to focus on the leaders first. That's why I gave the mage darts, is because even a little dart, which only does 1 to 3 points of damage, if used on a helpless enemy, will insta-kill them. Again, normally going down to 0 hit points kills you in most D&D, early editions of D&D, as well as in most games based on it, everything from Dragon Quest to Final Fantasy and all those. However, because the rules are so bad, they gave us a bone in the gold box games and gave a dying dead unconscious feature. If you go down to exactly 0 hit points, you are unconscious. If you go down from -1 to -9 hit points, you are instead dying, and you will lose essentially 1 hit point a round until you reach -10 and die. You can take an action in a turn to use bandage, which it's essentially what they actually have something similar in current editions of D&D, like and Pathfinder 3.5 and 5th edition, called stabilizing. And it's effectively that. It reduces their hit points to 0, so they are no longer in danger of dying. And at that point, they really can't be killed at all, but they can't be used in combat. Even if you heal them, I don't believe they get back up again. If they have super powerful regeneration, they may get back up again, as we were going to worry about here in a bit. And oh boy, is he taking damage. Can't quite reach him. Need to help out. Okay, now I can go back to quick. Oops, that's not how I want quick. We're going to hopefully start getting some surrenders soon. There are a lot of big groups of monsters in small areas, and that is bad. Not hugely bad. Bandage, so he's fine. One of the good reasons to have the mage not on auto. Also, I don't want to waste all of my darts, but I carry those darts because they can insta-kill the sleeping guys if they're within range. Unfortunately, they have a short range, only up to 5 spaces, basically. But, you know, it's good enough. Looks like the sleeping wore off the few that were left, so they ran down there. That's very bad. First genuine run of this game, and things are not going that great. Well, to be expected. Of course, he got up close, so I can do a bit of melee. Oh, yeah, done. Good. Whew, jeez, that's probably my mage. Yep. Even with an armor class of 1, it still manages to hit. But I managed to kill him at least. Oh, jeez. Finally, surrendering time. Oh, lost 100 experience there for green. No good. Luckily, no treasure. Cast. Cure light wounds. Get green up. 8 hit points. Excellent. Okay, and camp. Magic. Memorize. Cure light wounds and bless. Bless is a short duration but fairly decent at low level buff that just increases your chance to hit, mostly some saving throws. It's a decent first level spell when you know you're going to go into a fight, as I am here every time I step into one of these squares. Okay, speaking of which, oh, I have search on. That's silly. No wonder I've been fighting so much. Okay, this is the first, holy cow. Okay, okay, as long as there's no treasure here. 1 hit point. Woo! Okay, memorize. No, I don't need that. I didn't do detect magic. The cleric gets much more spells than the mage because for some reason they decided to grant bonus spells for high wisdom in first and second ed, but not for high intelligence. So even though you need intelligence to be a good mage, to memorize spells, to do it without problem, and to I need to turn off search though. Searching increases my chance of encountering monsters in addition to okay, this is a fight, I believe. This was one of the nastier fights, especially for my poor mage, who is in a very poor position. Okay, I generally like hitting this group here because it gets 8, but I have 3 leaders who are going to begin peppering me with arrows. Luckily, this group isn't worth that much experience, and they don't have treasure. Golly. Yeah, see, I'm about to lose my wizard again because of that. It's a good thing these guys aren't worth experience. It's pretty sad. I probably should run to safety, but oh. I should not be that easy to hit with a 1 armor class. These guys probably have a Thaco of about 20, so they shouldn't need to roll 19s to hit me, theoretically. So that's RNG for you. They might get a slight bonus to ranged weapons, but I don't think they should. Most monsters in First Ed don't have good enough stats to warrant any kind of combat bonuses. Ogres being one of the few exceptions. They do a huge amount of damage with weapons because they have an 1800 strength. Yes, my 4 main fighters, are as strong as ogres. There we go. Whew, survived. Okay, let's take some arrows. Okay, I think there's one magical item here. Nope. No magic items. That shield is just a random shield. Okay, heal them up. Let me join arrows together. Might need to pick up more arrows for him. He's at only 50, 80, 70, 130, much better. 130, much better. Camp, magic memorize, all 3 spells. Now you may notice that I have no thieves. Thieves are actually not necessary in at least what I am doing in any percent of this game. There are no traps. There's the magic shield. This scroll is good. Okay, I think that's everything except for the rope guild. Now you notice in the area map you can't see doors. You have to memorize where they're at. But I can use them occasionally to help orient myself. Because of the semi-isometric view of these maps, they decided to make it look semi-3D with some sort of pseudo-isometric. Golly, he is taking damage. I'm getting hit so much more than I should be. I'm not going to cast Sleep for this battle. I can probably safely do it, but I won't get enough, I believe, to make it be worth it. So it actually means that formations are wildly different depending on if I'm facing up when I start a combat or I'm facing to the side. So if I can arrange it, I like to fight up or down so that I have this wall of 4 characters, and it's a lot harder to get to my backline. It's just one of the weird things that the way this game works. Since everybody moves on squares, they should have just kept it fully square and not been so hip, but, you know, whatever. Jeez, I'm taking damage. Yay, surrenders. Okay, go ahead and take 2 groups of arrows. Go ahead and take 1 group of arrows. Go ahead and take... Should have 1 more. Yep. Oh my word. Okay, surprised party of kobolds. I may not actually have any more battles to do after reaching level 2. That kind of makes my level 2 split slightly volatile, but... Normally you can throw up to 3 darts a turn, but if you're throwing at somebody who's helpless, you only use 1. It's kind of weird that way. Melee attacks, fighters will eventually be able to attack more times, but that is... Okay, because of all the searching I did, I'm a little bit at a bad time here. Searching advances the clock by 10 minutes. It's not on basic hours. 00 is actually dawn. Okay, pool items. I don't really need to identify these things, but doing it for my own peace of mind to make sure I don't throw away items that are necessary. Also, it spends a bit of money, which I actually need to do, believe it or not. Among other things, spending any money at all will cause the NPCs to automatically, why do I have that? For some reason, they will choose to automatically what's the word I'm looking for? They'll automatically change your money for you, which is really convenient. Okay. 42 platinum, not enough, so I need to... Usually I do need to do this. Gems and jewelry have to be appraised in a shop, and you have no idea what they're going to be worth. 50 gold, 10 gold, 1,000 gold, that's good. You need 1,000 gold in order to train and level up. You don't just level once you reach a certain point. Good. Okay, that should be just about all the money I need for most of the game. 203 platinum, it's at least enough to do this. In different circumstances, I might also choose to buy a few arrows, but I've fought a lot of goblins already. Okay, this is a training hall. Different rooms for training different people. Here's where I train clerics, so silver can train to level 2. Begin adventuring. At this point, you can reset your party as well. You can use this to open up a exploit to copy items if you want. You can duel in this room. You can also hire an NPC companion. I don't need to do either. And he doesn't have experience to level up his fighter level yet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to rest here. I can now memorize 2 of these things because they're slightly more useful than... I'll go ahead and... No, actually. Okay, we have not yet cleared out the slums, so we should be pretty close. Oh, that was supposed to be my split for level 2. Hard to remember where to split for this thing. I'm going to be a little bit behind starting out because the slums is really bad. Okay, now one of the cool things about fighters in this game is that when you're fighting small enemies, you can sweep them, which means you get to attack a number of targets equal to your fighter level. If they're adjacent to you and you attack with the melee. So that's why he did 2 quick swings there. Missed with both of them, unfortunately. But we've already caused the morale failure, so that's what we want. Not you. You. Take arrows. Okay. For some reason, doors auto-lock. So, again, I don't need a... thief, because thieves are actually really bad at most of their skills early on as well. And I actually have a much better chance with my super powerful, strong characters of opening the door by bashing it than by... You can see I should have just rested for multiple days. You can see how long it takes to try a heal normally there. But I have a better chance of bad levels again, too. I can get up to 14 points level. Most of my warriors got 5 points, which is minimum, actually. That's awesome. And then even the highest one got 3 above minimum. These were really horrible rolls, but about what I'm expecting at this point. Okay, maximum I can get in this situation is 6. I want to, before I take out the last pair of these slums, I need to make sure to clear out the enemies that are in particular things. So sweeps allow me to clear out goblins and kobolds are small, so I'll be able to sweep them. It's about the only time in the game you'll see the sweep effect from this point on. And again, the surrenders and the slaughtering of the helpless guys. Probably should have thrown at them before. Okay, take. Yes, take. Surprised by orcs. I'm sure I was. That's a lot of orcs, too. Very unusually high amount of orcs. Golly, and they're hitting. Hitting annoyingly amounts. 5's the most I can get, which is unfortunate. Orcs are medium sized, so I can't sweep them. I should probably be throwing darts at the few that are sleeping to make sure that I at least have them eliminated. Tink, 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 tink. I should have about a 50% chance of hitting orcs now with my Thaco. Even better than that, maybe 55 or 60%. Seriously, not surrendering? Okay. Nothing worth taking. Well, you get half hit points when you're multi-class. Only non-human classes can be multi-class, and they can only be certain multi-classes. Okay, I think I may have finally... Yep, okay. If I rest for 2 days, that means that there are no more random encounters left. So I need to memorize 2 magic missiles now. Do I have any to memorize here? No. Okay. Okay, this is a maze-like area. Trying to remember where to go, which I usually do okay at. Before I ran over into a room and met a mage, his name is Olo, and he wants me to pick up this potion for him, which I believe is a potion of youthfulness. Unfortunately, we can't use it ourselves, so we might as well just collect it for him. We get experience and treasure for returning it to him. You can try fighting him, it isn't worth it. There's no good reward you get from doing so. Now, there's one room left, which is one of the hardest fights in the game. The last portion of the slums, you have to fight 2 ogres and 3 trolls. 1 ogre is really tough, 2 is bad. Trolls are even worse, and again, I have to fight 3 of them. So save the game beforehand, cast Bless, because every little bit helps. Trolls are going to throw me now. I have to be very careful with how I fight here. I want to try to leave the ogres alive as much as possible. Use... This is a more powerful magic missile than I can cast myself. Big problem is the trolls regenerate several hit points, so... I need to actually equip my... Oh, jeez. Yeah. Off to a great start here. This is the best chance in the game of dying. Just by the way. So, let's see. Ah, perfect. Okay. Okay, now... If you stand where a troll was, they cannot revive. But even if you drop them, even though there's no corpse showing, they will revive if you just leave them alone for too many turns. And of course, it takes so long to take down one troll, taking down 4 of them. I think I said 3. There's 4. Yeah. Jeez. Takes a long time. So I need to make sure to stand on all the corpses of the trolls that I've killed so far. Very low chance of hitting, but right now I need everything I can, especially with these low hit point totals. Okay. Trolls get 3 attacks a turn. They do a what is generally known as a claw bite. And manual. Okay, there we are. Whew, 1 down. That's bad, especially since this is worth a lot of experience. And I could potentially lose another here too. Whew. Every little bit counts. 1 hit point. Yay, kill him quick. Darn it. And he has almost full hit points. Yes! Oh, jeez. Okay. Detect. Share. Take. Magic, Javelin, Hammer, and Magic User Scroll. That's pretty bad. This is random loot, so I'm hoping for good stuff. I didn't get it, but it is enough to... 2 point scores. At least he's alive. Okay. He is enough to level up to 2, but he's almost a full level behind. Like in most games, I can actually camp now if I feel like it. I'd rather leave the rope guild first, though. Like most role-playing games, experience is divided amongst your living and alive party members, or awake in this case. So, unconscious party members means that they don't get the experience and everybody else gets more, which means they fall even more behind. So blue's going to be a bit disadvantaged right now. He locks his door again. All these doors auto-relock. We get some more treasure, including another random magic item of Guisarm Vouge, which is not a great weapon, so it's going to be sold. So is the javelin and the hammer. They're useless. So, a not great slums, especially since my split is actually a couple minutes behind as well, because I always forget to split in time at what I've decided is split time. One of the biggest advantages to doing this, though, is that let's see, what do I want for next fight? It's going to be sleep again. It's those fights. One of the biggest advantages to clearing this out is that now I could rest anywhere in the slums. And so it's actually more convenient to go into the slums and rest than it is to try to find an inn in town, because it's guaranteed safety. It's closer actually to most of the places you're going to be, and it is okay. That is split. Okay, share, exit. She gives us a bunch of quests. You have to return to her every time you clear out a thing in order to get a reward for it. It's a decent amount of experience, progresses the game slightly. Some of the types are more necessary than others for progressing. Let's see. I might be just about at all the arrows I need to buy. We'll see if I start to run out at any point. Okay, if any of these are +2 items, they're actually worth it. But of course, they're all 1, so sell. Okay, 236 platinum, which is enough to level. He can't level, actually. No, he can. Yeah, they all can, actually. They're at 8,000 for the next level ever to this. He will be able to level twice, so he needs 400. So I do need to appraise 1 jewelry. 1,000 gold. Excellent. Sell. That's perfect. Okay, so view, trade to silver, platinum 200. Okay, so basically I'm doing most of my splits on whenever I go to return to Sasha. Sasha is her name in later things. Right now she's just called the clerk. She also tells us which ones we have, but we don't actually need to go and talk to her in order to get the quest to do the thing. If we go and complete the objective, we get let's see, 24 hit points again, minimum twice. Blue rolled minimum hit points twice, and no wonder he actually fell unconscious and stuff. It's golly, such bad rules. Okay, that's RNG. Magic, I can memorize more spells now, including second level spells. Hold person and science. These are kind of situational, but they're the only useful spells the second level cleric has. Again, the only healing spell I get is Cure Light Wounds. So it takes forever to heal in this game, which is why just resting is better. I forget where I'm going. So now that we've cleared out the slums, they want us to clear out so-called Keep. This Keep on this island in the Bay of Flan is got a ghost in it that's preventing any ships from going out. They're undead and stuff, and so they want us to do this. So there's over on the side. Wowee. Okay. This is another big fight. This is not going to last long, but whatever. I'm down to 18 darts. What has been happening to them? Okay. Okay. As you can see, there's a horde of hobgoblins coming. They're a pain. We also have 4 orc leaders in the back with bows, which are really annoying. And of course, they're able to hit me, even though they shouldn't be. That's bad. If I can get all my people to a little bit better cover beforehand, it makes everything go a bit better. That was a big fight. So there's an evil boss, as he's usually called, named Tyranthraxus, who's the final boss in this game. He's ruling all of these monsters that centuries ago destroyed the city and are now ruling it. And so he is trying to, we've made our mark in the slums by killing all the minor minions he had there. So he's trying to prevent us from clearing out the keep, sent this big horde to attack us. It's the only actual battle in this map, so so-called keep is pretty easy once we clear this out. If I get lucky and kill 1 or 2 guys a turn, it'll go pretty quick, especially once they start surrendering. They're just orcs and hobgoblins, same as I fought before. And if I can get them in a big enough group with a big sleep spell, everything goes pretty well there. Okay. He's doing well with that flail +1. Long swords are by far the best weapon in the game, but basically any +1 weapon is the best you can get here, especially if it's one-handed, so you can use a shield. That bonus armor class saves you a lot. Basically, 5% extra hit points is worth quite a bit, or at least a 5% chance of making something miss entirely is how it evens out to, but mathematically essentially means 5% more hit points. Just very a little more random than that. Normally, of course, I'd give it to my straight cleric, which you would normally do in probably a casual game, as well as in games where you want to continue on to the other. I can only get 1. I was afraid of that. This is not working out great. Well, I can force them into a spot to sleep, perhaps, at least. The AI, in some of the early editions of this game and in similar ones, the AI would actually be bad enough to... oh, God, I forgot. He's not coughing and choking yet. I can't believe he made a saving throw several turns in a row. They'd sometimes be bad enough to actually walk into the cloud. They don't now, but it serves as a barrier, and anyone you catch in it, if you can get 4 at once, you can disable 4 enemies. There aren't any good second-level spells, so Stinking Cloud is the best option most of the time. Well, they're almost grouped up enough to make a sleep spell worth it. Archers should be almost out of arrows. There we go. Okay, cast sleep. Let's eliminate. Oh, I got all 7. Nice. Hobgoblins have more hit points, so they actually are much less. Even though they're a 1 hit die plus 1 hit point monster, they actually have a lot more resistance to sleep. They count as 2 hit die monsters. So instead of doing a total of 9 or 10, you could only get like 4 or 5 hobgoblins at once, depending on how well your sleep rolls. There's no saving throw against, which is one of the things that makes it ridiculously powerful. It just affects that many units, but it also becomes totally obsolete after a few after just a few levels, since now. Okay, get a quick insta kill there. Alrighty. He's starting to take some damage. He's 3rd level, but he could go down here if he keeps taking hits like that. Of course he is surrounded. The from behind function doesn't work as well in this game, or at least not as clearly as it does in later gold box games. Similar to flanking in modern editions of D&D, you do get a. I'm just gonna quick you now. You're not gonna be able to run away. I was hoping you would, but I'm gonna need to buy more darts for her, which is normal. Hopefully, I've started to kill enough that soon they'll start surrendering. Let's hope so. The joys of low-level D&D and so many misses. There we go. Now we're starting to. Alrighty. That was bad. With my 18,100 strengths, I've got all these guys have low enough hit points, except for maybe the leaders and even the leaders, because of the certain weapons I have, most of my characters will one-shot them in a single blow. My mage will not, although she has, not guaranteed, but she has a good chance of one-shotting even the orcs. Of at least the orcs. Could one-shot even the 8 hit point orc leaders. Please, okay, there we go. Battle 1. They're starting to surrender. Okay, and with that, so-called keep is pretty much done. No arrows left, I'm sure. Nothing worthwhile. Okay. First, we're going to deal with some ghosts here. They're going to show me what their treasure is. I could search for it myself, but gems are really good because they're the potential for a lot of money at very low things. Now, here's the spirit who used to inhabit this temple here, and let the keep, and he's been doing a lot of stuff, causing problems, but we tell him what's going on, and he agrees to allow the citizens in the city, now that we're returning, he's going to stop. Parlay, nice. Samosud. Okay. Instead of Chesney, now we have to say Samosud. But we can avoid fights with all the undead by telling him that, which is nice. Yes, we give the password. Leave us alone. Oh. Okay, that's cost me a little bit of time, but not as much as the fight would have. Yes, I give the password. Leave me alone, Mel Brooks. Oh, darn it. I forgot. I need to find another way to, since maybe it would have been better just to... There's another way to get into the armory. I should have taken it to begin with. It's actually a lot better than trying to go through there. Invisible wall. Good loot over here. What we have is magical longsword, magical shield, magical chainmail. He already has magical shield. Magical mace. Okay, this broadsword is going to go to silver. Trade this magical shield to blue. So now he has a longsword +1. Longswords do, interestingly, first edition D&D, for some reason, weapons do different damage against large monsters than they do against small monsters. Or medium-sized monsters. They do the same against them. So, gonna sell that. And longswords do 1d8, which is almost the highest that you can do with against small or medium monsters. They do 1d12 against large monsters, which is the second most of any weapon in the game next to a two-handed sword, and it's a one-handed weapon. So longswords are generally your best option for weapons. Of course, you get a lot of non-long swords early on, so I'll use whatever. And a +2 weapon is just too valuable to pass up, which is what that mace is. He does 1d6 +9 with it now, so that's a minimum of 10 damage. So now we've done this. Okay, a lot of experience for doing that. You can go to temples to heal. Oh, darn. Now I can't. No. Okay, so I need to go back and rest in my special hideout known as the Inn. Until it is... Okay, rest another 10 hours. Whoops, not 10 days. 10 hours, I always forget that. Oh, and I need to split. I always forget. Whoops. It's about to turn to the new day. Luckily, we're not in any kind of time limit. It's ridiculous the things that can happen in your thing. So he is high enough level, but we actually need money. So let's see. Let's buy some darts to get our money sorted. Mages can only use darts, quarterstaffs, and daggers in first edition D&D, so they're really limited. We'll have to see if that's any good. Get that identified. Once I get good enough, right now I'm doing it as a safety measure so that I know what I'm carrying that's magic or not, but once I'm a lot more comfortable with the game, okay, I need to start. Let's take the 5 jewelry because that's the surest way of getting the money I need. Okay, that's actually close to enough, I think. 200, so everybody should be able to level up once again. 4,000, he can level up fighter, can't level up priest. That's perfect. Okay. I want to minimize the amount of gold I'm carrying because it actually has significant weight in this game, so I only want to do so much at once. Oh, yeah. This is cleric. My cleric can't train yet. Nor can my wizard train yet. Well, that's not a huge surprise. My warriors are the only ones who can train so far. Every time you come in here, he's like, please duel or hire somebody. And we're like, no. Blue cannot level yet because he died during the big fight. Okay. Kuto's Well is our next step. It's a very minor thing. A couple of quick battles, some good experience and money. I actually want to come down this way. Okay, Kuto's Well. I want to avoid as many comments as can now. There's no way to stop the random encounters here in Kuto's Well. So, this is actually it. Okay, yes, combat is beyond here. So, let's go ahead and cast. No, we don't need to bless for this. We're just going to fight these guys and hope that I don't die too much. A lizard man and a couple of giant lizards that are pretty weak, only 10 hit points each. So stronger than a lot of things I've been fighting this far, but yeah, trash. No treasure. Treasure is actually here. We force our way in, help this woman, gather up some loot. What have we got? More bracers, which are better, and a quarterstaff and banded mail. One of the things about magic armor is that it's lighter. I'd go with banded mail instead of any other armor at the beginning because it's relatively cheap and it's the same as splint mail, a little bit more expensive than it, but it also is okay. We have to fight 2 kobold groups before going into the well. They're pretty weak. And of course they get the jump on us and oh jeez. Yeah, but you can see how weak they are because I sweep them so much. That was a sweep of 3. Since I'm 3rd level now with those 2, they can sweep up to, or you might even 4th level. Yeah, they can sweep up to 4 kobolds if they're surrounded. So 3 sweep really easily. It's like, why are you even trying to fight us? You can actually fight a lot of kobolds in this game. Some weapons, for some reason, +2 weapons especially, trigger my character to prefer melee to ranged, which is kind of interesting. We climb down, then it asks if we want to climb back up, which is silly. We get shot. We don't take any damage because they're silly. No, that isn't the right way, actually. Yeah, this is the right way. Okay, and now Norris the Great, Norris the Grey, a thief, is leading his kobolds and minotaur minions here. We're, of course, going to fight, not surrender. This is a moderately difficult fight. Or at least it's worse than previous ones have been. So, I wanted to... Well, whatever. Sleep actually still would have been useful here, but oh well. I forgot it, so, Once again, taking a lot more damage than I should. Three. Well done. Magic missiles in this game do not accelerate as quickly as they do in other games for damage. I'm still only doing, I took damage so I can't cast. Come on, surrender already. Okay. There's a magic longsword, which is good. Blue has a +2 mace. I'll leave him with that. Let you take that, as well as the 14 arrows. Still has 100 arrows, so you're doing good there. We can sell that for 100 more gold. Now, I don't think... Let's see. Yeah, I still need a little bit of money here, because I skipped a few other things, so... It's largely silver and copper, but it isn't too bad. Let's go ahead and cast these Cure Light Wounds. Of course. Magic memorize. Can't memorize that anyway. One magic missile, one stinking cloud. Pyramid, yeah, I do want that rather than that now. I have no idea how many days I need to rest, but it's quite a few. So now I can rest safely in the well. Not that it's that great, but it's something. Okay, now I still need a large amount of experience. Darn, was not able to flee. Experience isn't worth much here, so luckily a couple of lizard men aren't too bad, but this is a bit of waste of time I don't like. Lizard men have, although they seem to be holding swords and shields just like orcs, they don't actually have any equipment. They don't even carry any money, which is one of the other problems. I imagine that I'm using the +2 mace because the computer must be calculating that I do better damage with it than with a non-magic bow. It was the same when I got a +2 bow stick in the last game. Blue, man. Maybe I shouldn't be giving him that to charge in because he's so weak. Better to have lost experience on one warrior, though, than on my mage. That's the one I really have to do stuff for. Before I need one real item in order to beat the game, and that is the Dust of Disappearance, a special item that we'll go into when we get there. And that item, yes, he can level now. Is that's here. I forgot. That item is found in the Temple of Bane, one area which is rather dangerous. I want a 5th level mage for that for a lot of reasons. So, Norris the Grey gives us treasure. I don't know if I actually need to talk to him. I don't think so, but it's really quick to do so. I'll check that out later on. Right now, I'm just getting everything I need done to get a complete run. That's a split, by the way. Let's see. Pool again. Take only 1,000 platinum. How are arrows? 61. Let's buy 4 arrows to keep you at 100. $106, and you're not using too many anymore. 96 is fine. 123. Let's buy you a bunch. Hopefully the last arrows we'll need to get for the rest of the game. That was actually less than I could get. So 164, let's buy you that. And as I say, purchasing a few arrows is, or just purchasing one item is enough to sort all the silver and copper that I have. So now I have 181 gold, which is not enough to train. So jewelry, 800 is all it is. Gems, gem, good. That's okay. That's training for everyone. Pool share, view. 281 should be good enough. Now this should get us all to level 4 now, except the cleric fighter. But he should be close. Nope, oops, you're not the right thing. Train. Not quite yet. 3 in both. Yeah, he can't train actually. Okay, fine. Yay, level 4 magic user. I don't really need anything. Invisibility, whatever. Begin adventuring. View items. Oh, I can drop that because that's magical. That's also better. I forgot that. Blink and protection for normal missiles. Horrible spells. I need to sell them. Protection from normal missiles can be decent in occasion, but there's really not too many occasions you get to use it. Okay, that's all I can do for now. Alrighty. So, I need to get enough experience to get to 22,500 will get my mage to level 5, and that should be enough experience for everybody, even the fighter who's behind a bit. So we are going to go west. So there's a particular place that will reward us a lot of experience for very little effort here in the wilderness. And it is this mysterious pyramid here. Flee. I can usually flee from these things. So Yarash is the wizard here, and he has this pyramid of teleporters. He's polluting the river. They haven't given me this quest yet, but I can still do it. And this mysterious pyramid is polluting the river. Throw a rock, move on through. Because he's actually making mutant lizard men. And polluting the river is making them more powerful. It's also interfering with Vlan's business and everything. We can't do much because the river's so polluted. So by cleaning up Yarash's pyramid, we will save the city, and it's worth a lot of experience. And all we have to do is make it through these teleporter mazes. This is a wonderful copyright protection. Here's all of his galv's gauges and everything. We're not going to bother destroying them because it's a pain. We have to try and escape the room in time, which is a pain. And it's not really necessary. We will actually just do it by killing Yarash. And other interesting thing, even though he comes in and sees us here and starts screaming about various things, actually he doesn't. We can advance, which actually forces him to advance. Haha, that's so nice. He chokes because of that. That's why that's good. And these mutant lizard men are so nasty. Ooh, not good. Goodness gracious. Whew, dangerous, but quick, easy experience. Detect, take. Okay, wand is not much. Bracers are the same as the other braces. They're also worth a huge amount of money. So I have all the money I need for the game. These potions don't do a lot of good, actually. Potentially they might. I might be able to route them in somewhere. Let's see. We're going to change it to copper. And pop. This is random treasure. Shield, potion, military fork. Take the shield. Take the potion. Take the military pick. Military pick, not fork. Boom. So gold, silver, and copper are the special things to his treasure rooms. So might as well search for all the treasure. That was not a very good thing. A magic user and a cleric scroll, including a null item. I have no idea what the null item is. That worries me. I am very afraid of that. I'm going to drop it because I am very much afraid of what it could mean. I don't want to see my game glitch out because I have a mysterious null item. It was usable by a mage, whatever it was, but it was held in the hands, but it's just not worth being scared of. Okay, so unfortunately that's all. Poof. But we get one more room, so can't say it's all. Not a lot either. Bardi, Shransor, and Magic User Skull. So if either of these are +2, they'll be okay. Otherwise, not likely that great. Okay, now I'm going to change the setting to blue, which will allow me to leave. First, I'm going to go ahead and heal up. Whoops. Don't need to read magic. That will theoretically allow you to identify scrolls, but you can just pay the money and do it instead. Boom. Now we need to go north to leave the pyramid. Okay. And even though, oh, look at this cutscene, which magically shows that the river is already cleaning itself of pollution, despite the fact that we actually did not destroy the equipment. Boat, back to civilized area. Oh, yep, it's unfortunately a bad time again, so I'm going to need to go rest for a few hours. Um, Big time experience. And I'll go and take it. Don't care about that, though. So we just agreed to go clear out the graveyard of dangerous undead. We're not actually going to do that because it is a waste of time. It's worth a lot of experience, a lot of good loot, but it's also very dangerous. We're not that interested in danger. Of course, she can't train yet. So she needs about 3,000 experience. Okay. Okay, time to get the last of the money I need. From this point on, I only get items that I really, really need. Healings, potion of speed, which is very valuable. Potion of giant strength, which is super valuable. Military fork +1, I don't need. Shield +2, though, that's very valuable. Bardiche and Ranseur are not valuable. If we get super lucky, we can get really good magic items. If we don't get lucky, there's not much we can do. Clerical scrolls aren't really worth much. Okay, that's a bad one. I don't know about these others. I'll need to find out. Okay, she has all the money we possibly need on her person. Okay, let's go ahead and sell those for 6,000 inferior bracers. Okay, now we have enough for all the levels we need. I need no more treasure the rest of the game, which is good. Let's see. Let's go ahead and use these scrolls, see what they are. Have to take off quarterstaff first. Slow, reduce, shocking grasp. Not that great. Protection from good. Not that great. Actually, better than you'd think, though, because of the final boss. Just amusing little thing. Okay. Okay, need to get a few more experience things to level up. So we will see. Yeah, I should be fine because of the extra experience. So the library here is super safe, so I'm coming into Mendor's library. There's some things I could do here for a little bit of XP, but overall, not super worth it. However, it is a safer area to travel through. This is not, but gets me really quickly to Podol Plaza. We're going to disguise the party as monsters. Our mission is to find an item that is being auctioned by the monsters, find out about you. So disguising ourselves as monsters. If we have a low charisma, we have a chance of our disguise being penetrated, but our charisma is really good, so doing whatever is fine. Doesn't really matter what you select if you're thing. Being nice is not good when you're disguised as monsters. Monsters are not nice. If you're abusive to them, they get scared of you and run away. Okay, so now this clerk, apprentice clerk guy, junior clerk person, decided to give us a mission to get some treasure for him. This is his old family's estate, and it has just stuff. Very valuable package. We're supposed to find it and return it to him unopened. Because this is an RPG, it's worth more experience to open it and get a magic item out of it, and it's going to really tick him off, but we don't care because we are going to skip every other quest that he's involved with during the game, and besides, he's actually an evil bad guy who's going to try and sell us to the Zentradi, which is a quest that we're skipping. Again, we don't care. So a couple fights in here that go by quickly. Hopefully I'll be able to avoid all other fights, but there are some random ones. Okay. It's here. Yeah. Go ahead and cast Bless. This starts at range with a bunch of these guys. I could try and do sleep, but I can only sleep a few at a time, so this is going to be a long fight regardless. So I'm just going to take advantage of the fact that the ogre's not going to get to me and pelt him with magic missiles. He is theoretically the most kind of dangerous. 5 armor class isn't great though. 21 hit points doesn't do much. A couple of archers are going to shoot us back. We don't care. Now I'm level 4, my magic missiles are doing twice the damage. Let's see. They've made an awful lot of saving throws against my stinking cloud, but the one that needed to hit. So I guess I can't complain too much. Including the ogre. Oh, go. Which means I wasted a thing on him before. Oh well. I should be able to have one-shot one of these leaders with a magic missile. Good. There we go. Now we're starting to kill things. Not surrendering yet? There's only a few of you left. Come on. This is the last, nope, next to last big fight of the game. Well, no, I have a couple more big ones after that, but that was quite so many guys. Yeah, sometimes our guys are stupid. They're trying to find each other and can't. Okay, share, take. No arrows, because hobgoblins don't have them for whatever reason. We are going to open this, receive 2,000 wonderful experience, which should be enough to level her as well, which is great. Let's see, we have gauntlets of, okay, go ahead and share. Gauntlets of Ogre Power. Gold banded wand and a ring, which is not magical. Right. So that makes him as strong as my other warriors, which is a good thing. I got a lot more experience than I would have gotten returning that to the evil bad guy, and I got to stick it to the evil bad guy, so yay all around. Oh, darn it. I wanted to avoid any more fights. Oh well. Scorpions aren't actually that bad, provided they don't poison me. If they poison blue, that'll be hilarious. Oh, jeez. So red instead. Okay, so I'm going to have to go to a temple to revive him from poison. Do I have any spells left? No. I'm all out. This is the worst fight here because of the poison. Oh, jeez. I was wrong. I did not know that you could fight these guys here. I was kind of hoping to do that. Turning is pretty good. Takes them a bit to run away, but... Oh, I forgot. They are trying to shoot the white. I don't think it's doing much good because... whites are immune to non-magic weapons. The problem is I can't tell, possibly because of the... Okay, shoot the ghouls to death. They should be able to run away, but apparently they can't. So I guess I'll just have to... Keeps having her auto too. Don't want to. Surprised by gnolls. Yay. And gnolls are so weak. So big, but so weak. How are they hitting me? That's the problem with Kuto's Well, is that even after you clear out Norse the Grey, there's still encounters you have to deal with, and you can't do anything about it. Thank you. Ah. Might have been quicker to reset and go for no encounters. There's a lot of these lizard men, too. Thank you. Save finally. Now my movement's messed up. Kuto's Well is annoying throughout the game because of the fact that monsters never stop attacking you. Sometimes they'll run away instead, but it's totally random. A lot of these areas, once you've cleared out the bosses and stuff, they are... let's see. Heal. Neutralize poison. Oh, heal. We have to raise dead now. Okay, pool. Take 20 praise. There we go. Okay, pool share. Pool heal. Now his constitution's been permanently lowered because he died. Poison kills. And then you have to neutralize poison and then raise dead. It's so annoying. It's really bad. I could go and fix that, but it's not worth the time. Okay. Since I'm here, big time waste. Money waste too. Okay, I still have lots of money, luckily. Yeah, Cardona is mad at us. We got Photo Plaza, another 200 experience. couple of things they want us to do. Otherwise, we don't care. We have only a couple of things left to do. Okay, 5th level, which gives us Fireball. If I select anything else, I have to reload. So basically run over. Okay. 4/4, he's close to his max. Okay. Memorize. Okay, so Durton's going to help us take the... he's a cleric who's trying to restore the Temple of Ilmat Tyr, I think it was Tyr. It's the Temple of Tyr, was taken over by the desecrated, turned into a temple for Bane, the evil god. Surprised by some hobgoblins. Of course, we were hordes and hordes of hobgoblins. Which is gonna be a long fight. So Durton is the only NPC we'll collect in the game, and only for this quick little adventure. He's semi-useful. Has a couple of spells as a target. It's going to take too much experience to have around for most of the time, but he's valuable here. He'll leave automatically once we finish the mission, whether he's dead or alive. Interestingly. But, so... good to have him around for now. Unfortunately, I have a really big fight coming up. I have 2 little fights, which are pretty easy, and then 1 ginormous fight, so I can't afford to make this fight easy with any spells. Although it looks like I'm going to be chopped to pieces by the time I finish with this, so maybe I'll have to leave and go take care of that anyway. This is not going well. Need to do more safety saves and saving reloading if I get encounters similar to Final Fantasy Tactics. It'll probably end up being faster. Kind of afraid to because of, just how it interacts with my OBS, but I need to not be afraid of that. Unfortunately, running away is not very good. You can run away potentially, but it's really hard. You have to find an edge, and then you have a chance of running with each person. And if you get attacked when you're running away, and if somebody goes down, they are automatically dead if everybody else flees. And we've seen what happens when you die. This is just a really big mess of a game right now. But since it's going to be my first recorded RTA, full RTA version, Geez, Durton's almost dead already. That's great. Yay! 6 points to himself, 8 points to himself. He's doing excellent. Geez, now I need to heal Blue up some more, though. Okay, it was back over here. Thank you, Durden. Not thank you, Durden. I'd rather you save prayer for other times, but unfortunately I can't do anything about that. It's not very reliable to rest in this place either, unfortunately. So I just have to try and complete everything as fast as I can. When did I get a thing? Oh well. Okay, save B, no. Magic cast. Cast. Okay, pretty good. Here we go. Okay. Excellent. Mace, chokes, and gags. That's what I need for starters. And now we have a bunch of orc archers, which are bad. But now I need a lot of nothing to happen so that I can fireball this group, clear out most of them. Takes a long time for these guys to go. It's going to turn to a lot less though once I'm able to cast a fireball, which hopefully I can do and they won't be able to interrupt, because if that happens, this is pretty much a reset. If he gets off a hold person spell, it's pretty much a reset. This is probably the second hardest fight in the game, really. Although with the wonderful luck I've been having, the next last fight is... Golly! Okay. First level monsters and they're making saves. When is my caster going to get another turn? Well, the fight's pretty much won now, even if the fireball's interrupted, but it's going to make things a lot slower. Okay, here is finally, fireball. It's not the one I wanted. Come on, starts raining anytime now. Come on already, battle's over, you know it. Finally. Jeez. What a horrible fight. Okay, one magic mace, which I believe is only a +1. Okay, now we get all the treasure. Cleric and magic user scrolls. The only one I really need is the magic user scroll. Potentially really good. here's the big prize. Dust. Wand. 3 potions, those are useless. Okay. Okay, magic, memorize, detect. Yes, the points are good enough. Fight went slightly better than my real record, apparently. Okay, now we have the last item. We have all of our important people to level 5. Let's see. That's not quite enough. It might be. I don't think it is, but let's find out. No. Too bad. Not enough experience level at all. So I have a couple of choices here. Hooray for magical locking doors again. So it's time for me to take on the gate. I can either... No, it's better this way. Okay, so we sell our wagon, or we buy a wagon from this guy. He sells us a wagon, which should allow us to sneak into the gate. We bribe them for 15 gold to let us through. That's fine. This allows us to sneak up here, cast Bless, enter this room, and surprise them. Oh, I forgot to check out if any of this stuff was any good, so I definitely need to go back now. Okay, let's see. We're going to cast Stinking Cloud first for its potential. Helpless Etten means that yes, that this goes much quicker. Experience. Let's see. Detect, take, magic, spear and hand axe, magic ring. How does that compare to our ring? -2. Yep, it is better. Need to identify that too. Trade to red. Nope. Won't do any good for red because he's wearing magic armor. We want to trade it to silver, actually. Because he still does not have any magic armor on, so that will give him +1 bonus. Ring of Protection does not stack with... It stacks with normal armor, but not with magic armor. So it'll stack with, if you're running plate mail, ring of +1, and you have a ring of protection +2, it counts as having +2 plate mail. I took no damage from the fight. That was the previous damage I had. So awesome. Okay, detect plus. Ettins can be dangerous, but overall, my battles with them have gone very well in all my run-throughs that I've got so far. So, sneaking through the gate, going to this side, we can take out the watchtowers. Cast. Bless. Advance on them, which kind of forces them to assist. Because we rested, the alarm doesn't count. And I forgot to have my caster cast. Jeez. Of course, blue is getting wasted again. That's his job. I'm gonna rest, so... These guys usually don't have any magic. Yep, the other one does, but for some reason he doesn't. $18, 6 hit points per, that's actually not bad. Okay. Camp, rest. There is some glitches that I can use in this game to multiply equipment. As I say, I don't bother because it's actually just a time waste. I don't pick up too many items that are worth multiplying. And, so the time it takes... Let's hope for a good roll and bad saving throws. Good, good, good. Lots of bad saving throws. Okay, so now we've taken the gate, which is good. It means that we can rest anywhere. What? Yeah, we're in the gate anyway. In case I get in any fights. Okay, gonna reload. I was almost through as well. That's the crappy thing. Okay, gotta make sure that OBS is still working. Okay, good. It came back up, although it's slightly off for some reason. Oh, it fixed itself when I did that. Okay. Oh, whichever. Alrighty. Let's try this again. $3,000 experience, super valuable. They still want me to do other stuff though. Okay, not worth it. Trade that to blue. Potion of speed, trade that to blue. Although maybe I should trade it to somebody else who won't be slaughtered so easily. Yeah, actually. Oh, he has that. Yep. Not worth. Dust to Disappearance, most powerful item in the game. Level 1 items are not worth it. Okay. I doubt I can train, but I always check just in case. I shouldn't bother. I shouldn't know now that I don't think that they can train either, but we're going to find out. Okay. So all I got was my cleric level. That's okay. Still very valuable. Okay, this will allow me to get another silence, which is kind of pointless. I could get resist fire, but it doesn't really, I don't think, do me much good. No. I'm going to do it just in case I remember. No, I'm not going to. 2 prayers because I only have 2 fights left in the game. I love how these rooms auto-lock. Surprising that means that I can run away without issue. I think once you do the thing, this area is considered cleared, which is nice. Okay, here we go. Entering Valjevo Castle. Really should make that a bit bigger. Okay, first thing we come in here, and we're nice to these poor laundry women, and they hate Tyranthraxus and will help us disguise ourselves. Now this very huge area has 4 areas around it, but for the most part, especially if you're disguised, you don't have to worry about anything. Come to the gate, give the password of Rhodia, which I don't know how you're supposed to learn that actually. Normally. Okay, clue book. Need to... I actually have not used it for very much this entire thing. I'm getting that good at remembering this stuff. But Valjevo Castle's hedge maze is pretty wild, so... so we came forward. Yeah, we want to go around here. If you don't have a map or something to guide you, this place can be horrible with teleporters, and it's maze-like, and you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know that there's a secret door here, and you don't know that this is stairs up. No. We find a secret door to our left magically. We go up these stairs, and we're about to start the final 2 battles, if you can believe it. Okay, so we're going to make some preparations. Use a potion of speed, use a potion of giant strength. Those should both last long enough to get us through this. Use Dust of Disappearance, the most important item. Stinging Cloud, Fireball. That's good. That's got 2 spells I need. No, no haste and no lightning bolt, which would be super awesome, but okay. And in here is the final lair of Tyranthraxus. He sends his guards to fight us first. However, his guards have a bit of a problem. They can't see us because we're invisible. If they're right next to us, they can attack us. But, when they are not right next to us, they kind of have no leg to stand on. Let's see. That'll get those 8. Best I can do. A lot of 20 damages. That's good. Okay, now we'll cast our own fireball. A few more saves. Potions of speed are mean. Okay, use. Excellent. 3 chokes. 4 chokes. Ooh, we're finally taking damage. Cast. Okay, cast. This is going very well. Cast. Okay, view items. That's pretty much all I'm going to be using now. Done quit. Done quit. Done quit. Done quit. Yes. Done quit. Cast. Cast. Done quit. Done quit. Done quit. Done quit. No. Okay, 8,000 experience. Now things get fun. We have to share the money to make this quicker. Ring, two-handed sword, and plate mail. So now that we've killed all of his guards, we're going to loot them all for their plate mail, weapons, and rings. Because this is some of the best equipment you'll find in the game, and we can all use it. Well, most of it. Rings of protection +3, +2 plate mail. And, that gives us -3 armor class. Powerful weapons, especially against a dragon, which is what Tyranthraxus is inhabiting. And it's great, you know, that we've just defeated all of Tyranthraxus' guards, and he's standing around and watching as we are looting his great, all of his men. These invisible people are looting his men and putting on their armor and taking up their swords, and he's just sitting there watching. Really hilarious. Okay, I think that's good. All -3 armor classes the entire way around. Exit the fight. No, I think we're good. Now Tyranthraxis wants us to join him, so we all have to vote. You actually have to click for each character. Tyranthraxis is trying to breathe, but he cannot because he can't see us. That's how good Dust of Disappearance is. It's silly. We're spreading out, kind of, even though he can't hit us. Wand of Magic Missile is pretty good at doing a little bit of damage to him. And with two-handed swords, we should hopefully kill him pretty quick. And that's final boss down. And now we get the cutscene. Mortally wounded, the dragon roars. The spirit of Tyranthraxis flares up from the dragon's body. This is a cutscene that cannot be skipped or advanced, so I'm just waiting. Fools, you have slain the body I possessed. I cannot be defeated. With the power of the Pool of Radiance, which I moved here to my lair, I will still rule by possessing one of you. No, Lord Bane, I can still rule here. I have not failed. Do not call me back through the pool. No. Knowing the Tyranthraxis have finally been defeated, we leave the castle and enter the streets, riding civilized area of Flan. I can't read it all now because we're still running. And it is time now. Congratulations, quest is over. Tyranthraxis is defeated. Flan is free. If you wish to, you may continue to help us clear any remaining monsters all Flan salute to. Here's your reward: 45,000 experience and like 200 gems and 100 jewelry. Yep. More experience than we could possibly use. One of the things about this game is if you have more experience than you need for the level after the level you're getting, it actually reverts you to that level and puts you one experience away from getting your next level. So all of this experience is pretty much going to waste since I didn't level first. Not that it matters that much because game over and I'm not advancing, but there we go. That's Pool of Radiance, 2 hours and 40 minutes, 23 seconds. Thanks for watching and sitting through this very old game. It is a very old game, but it's a treasure that I love, and I'm very glad that I was able to get a speed run that is so nice despite the issues with it. So I'm going to work on this a little bit, submit it for a few things in the future. We'll see. But for now, going to be signing off. So later all.